Yeah, good afternoon, students. So we'll start from where we have left. I think we have been doing about the social marketing. So today we are going to continue with the social networking. Now, what is social networking marketing? It is a way where you try to interact. The business will try to interact with the target markets. And this is through the social media marketing, that is through the social media platforms. It can be again Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, or Instagram. So, how do you try to overtake the traditional marketing? Now, generally in the traditional marketing, we have the traditional marketing structure where there's a traditional stores or a retail stores where people will be going there and buying the products. The products are advertised and through television media or any other mass media, the products are advertised. But in the social media marketing, it is used for all the traditional marketing goals, and as well as that will try to reach the more number of customer base. So, for example, that will be leading to more referrals, a good word of mouth, a positive response about the product will be, feedback will be given, and the products and the services, you can see there is an increase. It provides a means for the feedback, and moreover, it will try to build a very good traffic for the website or for the blog. And in a way, you can also develop the new products and services. And moreover, whatever the product covers, like it can be the news events, or it can be the special events, or it can be any broadcasting services, whatever it is providing. That would be a news in the market, so which will definitely increase the customer base. So what are the most popular social networking sites? We have Facebook with more than 2 billion users. And I think now the Instagram is also taking over. We have the YouTube, we have Twitter. And apart from that, we have LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and Pinterest. And we have the Quora, that is it, which will try to exchange the knowledge information. Now, what is a social media management tool? It is a software designed to allow the user to publish, to monitor, and also manage one or more of their social media networks within one single interface. Okay. So this kind will definitely makes it easier for them to share some kind of a content or some kind of an information. And it also makes the customers very easy to respond to the information, whatever is being broadcasted in the social media management. Okay. And moreover, it is where you can have the easier for teams to work together, because it is managing one social media stream. So you can have one interface, and with that interface, maybe you can have the kind of interactions, the kind of information disbursement, or it can be the customer analytics, or whatever it is. That is very simply possible whenever it is through the social media management tools. So what are the management tools we are talking here? It can be the social network, or it can be the tweet, or it can be the Twitter alone, or sometimes the Facebook alone, or the page manager. So all these, they all try to work with a Facebook page, and the social media management tool for the business will definitely try to make it very simple to use, and it is very flexible to use, and yeah, it is pocket friendly or budget friendly, which fits to the kind of budgets what the customers have. So this kind of advertising is generally described as an online advertising. And whenever it is an online advertising, we call it as, whenever it is an advertisement, it should be the paid one. Okay. And moreover, they can advertise based on the demographic information, or they can have the target group where the advertisements will be a priority for such kind of a customers. And moreover, there is, the content is appropriately designed, right kind of information will be reaching the customers. So what are the basic benefits of the social media advertising? So these will try to generate the leads, because leads are very important. Unless someone clicks on the page and gives their information, you cannot lead that to a sale. So you need to have lots of leads. So this social media advertising will try to generate the leads, and generally it is connected to the landing page. Okay, and in the landing page, they try to ask you to give your phone number or some kind of the details, wherein you can get a call back or some kind of information. And moreover, there is visibility. Yeah, your product or your brand or your content is appearing either through news feeds or banner ads, or it can be the blog posts or whatever it is. So in a way, the visibility criteria is more often, more frequent whenever you're using the social media advertising. And the reach and engaged audience. So social media users tend to be highly engaged because so many people will be visiting the social networking site several times a day. I mean, the digital viewability of either it can be the social platforms, the rate is very increasing. Whether it is WhatsApp or Facebook or Twitter, we find people time and again, even 1 minute is over, they just try to see, is there any message? Okay. So the target specific audiences can be identified. Okay. So based on their geographic locations or the personal interest or the gender or the age group. Okay. And moreover, you can have the increased awareness levels of the brand. Okay. So that will attract the users, and they try to accumulate their likes and viewership so that they become more loyal to the brand. And you also have the test drive promotions where they can effectively be tested with small sections before you are promoting the product to the large scale. And it is very, very flexible. You can, you can change the content, you can change the target audiences based on your product. Okay? But there are certain problems in social media marketing strategies. Like there's a steady decline in organic reach. Okay, platforms like YouTube and Facebook have billion active users every month. And at the same rate, we also have the Twitter, Instagram, or Pinterest. So there are hundreds and millions of new users every month. So whenever a business is there, it has to continue to embrace the idea of using the social media to promote their brands. So in a way, the businesses are fighting for the attention of the same audiences, all the businesses, because each of the competitor will try to cater to the needs of these 100 billions of users. So in a way, it's creating a competitive environment, and it is very difficult to create an efficient strategy across the channels. So many channels are there. Across the channels, you need to have a very efficient and effective information, and you need to manage the time. So, you need to schedule the posts, the weekly posts, the daily posts, and what comes in the priority has to be designed at appropriate time. And yeah, definitely the data has to be managed. Whatever the information you're gathering, that will be assisted to process the brand or branding. So definitely you need to have the data management, because whatever you're conveying, that will be taken as it is by the customer. And coming to the next subheading is the logistics management. Now, what is logistics? Logistics is nothing but the flow of goods, the better way, in an appropriate manner, the flow of goods and services from the place of production to the place of consumption. Okay. So this comes as the meaning is also pertaining to supply chain management. Now, what is supply chain management? It is a broad range of activities which are required to be executing the planning, controlling, and the flow of products or goods or services or materials from producer to the distributor or producer to the customer in a most appropriate and economical manner. Okay, so it requires a holistic view, and moreover, it requires an innovative approach in the organizations where you need a very good efficiency. I mean, a greater part of the efficiency should be devoted in mobilizing the goods and services from the producers to the ultimate consumers. Now, the supply chain management is a set of activities and techniques which firms employ efficiently and effectively so that the flow of merchandise from vendors to the retailers to the customers, there's a very appropriate flow. There's no block anywhere. The smooth flow of goods and services is nothing but an efficient and effective supply chain management. So what are the basic factors what you're going to consider here? The strategic advantage, all the retailers will try to develop a strategic advantage with their supply chain models, but it is very difficult to have a very successful supply chain management. But they do try to have an ability, or they try to put their efforts to develop such a supply chain management or a model which will have sustainable development. Okay. For example, we see the Walmarts. It all depends upon the information and the supply chain management systems, the success of Walmart. How? So whenever there's a difficulty from the levels of other competitors, wherein they could not break the supply chain management system of the Walmart. Okay, so why? Because they made a substantial initiation and continuing the investments in a larger scale in developing the system, and the large scale of economies are definitely helping the investments of the Walmart. And the supply chain activities take place within the firm and are not easily known or copied by the competitors. And lastly, there's a very efficient and effective coordination between the employees and all the functional areas. Okay. So what do? So the merchandise is always maintained in stock. The stock keeping units will always try to forecast and try to maintain the stock at adequate quantities. And apart from that, they try to monitor the sales, whether the stock maintained is mobilized in the market or not. They need to forecast and try to detect the deviations or any changes. And you need to transport the right amount of merchandise from the distributor centers to each store, because less quantity will make a customer return empty-handed. And you maintain a large stock, definitely the store will not be in a position to hold such stock. So you need to have a very creative thinking to plan how much is the merchandise which is required in each store. And you need to have an accurate information about the vendor warehouses, whether the vendor is in a position to store the goods till the goods are reaching the customer. Okay, then you need to have the timely orders and the timely empty, you have to replenish merchandise with the right quantities. You have to refill. Replenish is nothing but you have to refill the merchandise as and when the stock is getting reduced. And you have to collect and process whatever the return merchandise is there. So generally the Amazon, I've seen a video about the stock. See, sometimes the customers will be returning the goods. So where are these goods going? Whether it is clothes or whether it is any product or whatever it is. I could see that the Amazon has a very creative collection of these products which are not satisfied by the customers, and they are dispersed. There's no way that the same thing are resold in the market. So that is where the merchandise planning should be done. And improved product availability, whether it is pure stock outs or tailored assortments. Pure stock is the stock keeping units. When they see that a customer wants is not available, whatever the customer is requiring, the product is not available. Okay, and when a product is stock out, the customer will move to a competitor and he will buy the competitor brands. And in a way, maybe the loyalty, if at all is like the competitor's brand, the loyalty will be shifting from this brand to a new brand. And tailored assortments, tailored in a sense, it is tailor-made. I mean, you don't have to do any changes to the assortments. The only thing is you need to adjust the assortments in the stores based on the climatic conditions or the environment conditions or the seasonal changes, those factors. Like, for example, during this time in hot summer, we don't need any sweaters or woolen garments, right? We need maybe umbrellas or sunglasses to protect ourselves from the heat, and fruit juices or any other juices which are going to keep us cool. So it is a tailor-made assortment. So during this season, customers will be wanting only these products. So you have to see that these are available in the retail stores. And you have high return on assets. So whatever, from the retailer's perspective, an efficient supply chain information system can be improving its return on assets, because the increase in the sales and the net profit margins will always try to increase the inventory. So why are the sales increasing? Because the customers are offered a better product or a tailor-made product or assortment or a very attractive product, and these are available because of a very efficient and effective supply chain management. How is the supply chain management very effective? Because you got the information that you need these products in the stores or in the market. So these can happen if there is a complete and control over the information and the activities. You need to find out what kind of return on assets the company is maintaining, and definitely the sales and the net profit margins can be increased, and in a way that can be a better flow of goods and services into and outside the stores. Now, coming to the flow of information and merchandise in a supply chain. So here we can see the complexities of the merchandise and the information flow in a retail store. So whenever you have the information flows, when a customer chooses a product in a store and makes the payment, the details of the purchase are captured, okay, at the point of the sale terminal, and the same information will be sent into an information system of that particular store, which is archived. Okay, and this information will be accessed by the merchandise planner to monitor and analyze the sales. For example, if you, even though if you're making the online purchases, for example, it can be, say, Zepto, or it can be Spar or anything. Whenever you're sitting at home trying to make an order for that matter, even Amazon, want to make order for the groceries, or it can be fruits or vegetables, and you're just picking. So then immediately it will pop up. See, the frequently ordered items of fruits or vegetables are popped up, and in a way that will help you that, okay, so these are the goods what I'm bringing regularly. And from where is this information coming up, popping up? Through the information system, which is stored. And based on that, they will try to analyze the next purchase. Are we buying that? Are we going for a new brand, new product, or are we just dropping the product as a customer? So whatever the purchase information is there, that information, that whatever the sales transaction data is there, that will be sent to the distribution center. And whenever the inventory level is dropping, the merchandise planner will negotiate the terms, and he'll see that he will be replacing, he will be filling that stock levels by so and so date. For that, what does he do? He will try to, suppose he's getting a product from a distant places, so he will try to make the shipping bills ready. He will make a shipping agreement. Okay, he'll give an advance shipping notice stating that my goods are going to come, and in a specific time, he will try to see that the goods are reaching the dock, and these are checked in, and these are sent to the vendor. So the data warehouse, what does this do? The purchase data collected at the point of the sale directly goes into the database. And this database is, the collection point is called as data warehouse. Okay. And the information stored in this data warehouse is accessible on various dimensions and the levels of the data. So, and this information is extracted as and when they find necessity to understand the inventory management or the customer attitude. Okay, so how does the flow of merchandise takes place? So the merchandise can be flowing directly from the vendor to the distribution center, or the merchandise goes from the distribution center to the stores. And then finally, the merchandise can go from vendor directly to the stores or sometimes even to the customer. So the logistics is the basic aspect of the supply chain management, which will try to plan and implement the flow of goods and services. And apart from that, it will also control the efficient flow of goods and services. Now, coming to the channels and channel flows. So, they are different supply chain structures which are based upon extended, limited, and direct channels. Okay. Now, either it can be whatever the kind of channel you have, they try to flow the goods, the information from one place to another. So this can be the physical flow, where the movement of the goods and the method of the transport from one chain, from one part of the chain to another, or it can be the ownership flow, only the title will be transferred. Okay, only the ownership will be transferred. The rest of all remains the same. So if at all you see the traditional supply channel of the retail, they are raw materials. So the raw materials are supplied to the manufacturers. So the manufacturers will produce them and then supply that to the middlemen. That is, who are the middlemen or the intermediary men. It can be a wholesaler or a retailer. From the retailer, from the wholesaler, the goods will be going to the customer directly. So it is the manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, customer, or manufacturer, wholesaler, and then the customer. So what kind of flow you can see? It can be the services flow. The end process service will be provided, or it can be the information flow. At the right time, the information is flowing and reaching the other party, or it can be the payment flow. So whatever the agreed payment is there, that is delivered, or it can be the promotion flow, the communication. So it can be from the partners or from the consumer. So wherever we are talking about the extended channel, the distribution of the goods, that is the inventory by the retailers to the consumers, it can be achieved through the movement of the goods. Okay, from the stock holding points to the purchase points, or POP, point of purchase, that it can be the stores. So whenever we are talking about the physical distribution, so we call it as a place, okay, a place where the manufacturer, or it can be the retailer or the wholesaler, will be meeting the final customer and giving the product. So for this, you need the flow of goods and services. For this flow of goods and services, we have the channels of distribution who create a path where the producers and the customers can meet, and these producers will be taking care of, the channel will be taking care of the supply chain management and the logistics. So the supply channel is the total process by which the products will be reaching the final consumer. So it can be a product, or it can be a service, or it can be anything. So the supply channel will be the process wherein the products will be reaching the ultimate customer. And this should always be dependent upon the strategies, like it can be the reduced inventory and storage investments in the chain. You should not, or you cannot maintain huge stocks or bulk stocks of inventory. Improved end user and customer service benefit, you need to have a very strong relational links, and then you should have the costs of procurement or transportation at a minimum level. Okay, and your price should be competitive. wherein it should not be higher than the competitor's price. And the outcome of the entire chain is definitely dependent upon the relationships which exist between the entities in the channel. Okay, so you should not have the relationships of rivalry or secrecy or mistrust. Okay, you need to have cooperative or we need to say the coordination. There should be an appropriate coordination between the channel members. So there should be competition. If there is no competition, you would not get new varieties of the products in the market, but the competition should be of a healthy type. You should not have a competition which will really spoil the environment of between the channel members. So who is the manufacturer? The manufacturer or supplier, he processes the raw materials into finished goods. Okay, whatever the raw material he is buying, that will be converted into finished products. And these finished products are distributed to the intermediaries. So whenever the manufacturer is producing the products, he needs to keep in his mind that they maintain the adequate quality, and whatever the quantity standards are there, those have to be maintained. And apart from that, they have to concentrate on the production also. Overproduction and underproduction will definitely hamper the supply chain management and the time maintenance. The right product at the right time should be supplied by the producer. And moreover, if we are talking about the intermediary function, what does the intermediary do? Whatever the products which have been manufactured by the manufacturer, the intermediary will be supplying them to the ultimate consumer. So even they have to maintain enough stock. Never they should be undersupplying or trying to maintain excess of the inventory or less of the inventory. So they have to maintain the adequate piles of the stock where it meets the demands of the customers in the market. And then whenever we see that if you find the wholesalers, they dump huge quantities of the products, whether it is required in this season or in the next season. So such kind of things will definitely block your money, and you need to protect the quality of the material, whatever it is there. And sometimes few products deteriorate as time passes. So the piles of the stock should not be maintained by the channel members. Either it can be a wholesaler or it can be a retailer. So whenever you're giving a fresh stock to the customers would be happy, and they try to continue and maintain their loyalty towards the stores. So whenever we are talking about the growth of the channel relationships and the partnerships, in the present scenario, there is a strong relationships which are existing between various intermediaries who are serving a particular sector. So this can be that they are understanding the necessity. If they are competitive, they cannot make the profits in the market. And they might have also understood the coordination is very important. Competition is good, but within the present constraints, it need to be, they need to be very cooperative, and there should be coordination. And whenever there is higher negotiation power, they definitely have their own set of brand labels, products. Like I already said, like each one of them, whether it is Reliance or whether it is More or whether it is some other retailer, they have their own brands of few grocery items. It can be salt, or it can be the masalas, or it can be the pulses, some kind of products which are generally have their own brand. So it is very necessary for them to be very cooperative with lots of coordination under high competitive pressure to give what is required to the customers. So whenever we find there is a existence of a partnership in the retailers or amongst the retailers, each one of them tend to be very dominant, and they tend to be very superior in their respective sectors. But they should not fear to exercise their power over the supply chain. Okay, if the retailers want a partnership, then a smaller supplier will definitely not oppose. But if it is a larger supplier, you have a tough opposition wherein, so what is the benefit? If suppose we are supplying anything to you, what is the benefit we are going to get in return? So generally, whenever you find such kind of a strategy, you have the mutual objectives. It can be that I benefit as well as you benefit. If you succeed, even I'm also going to succeed. So that is how the mutual basis planning will be there, or the strategies will be applied. Now coming to the retail logistics. Now the word logistics has been defined from the French word loger, which means to quarter and supply troops. So the logistic is a process of managing the flow of merchandise from the source of supply. So the logistics will take care like how the goods are supplied from the place of production to the final customer. So there should be a lot of planning, and this planning should be very systematic. I mean, you need to have numerous goods and services which have to be delivered to the customer, because the customer is not satisfied with one single product. He needs to have multiple choices. So for that, we need to have a connect with the logistics. Okay. So what are the functions they're going to provide? So increased product variety. So you have lots and lots of varieties of products. For example, if earlier days I want to buy a soap or say a shampoo or a detergent, we had fewer numbers of the products where the customer could make a choice of the purchase. But as of now, where everyday competition is growing and you're finding numerous varieties, whether it is a domestic product or an international brand, you have huge awareness levels amongst the customers. They know that the brands are available in the market. They tend to be coming to the market to buy such kind of products. So you need to have a lot of information, and for that you need to maintain lots of varieties of merchandise so that the final customer is satisfied. And the customer will be always wanting the product. As a king, he demands a product that should be available in the market at the right time, at the right place. So at the right time, the product should be there, as well as at the right place, the right product should be given to the right customer. For that, you need to have a very, very efficient planning. And generally, the profitability of the present and the future are maximized only by the logistics system. I mean, if you're able to fulfill the orders in time, managing the cost will be very effective. But as and when there's a delay or the lags come in, I mean, your cost will also be increasing. So if you're talking about the profitability, that talks about the logistics efficiency. And generally, these strive to add value for the customer. That is, they give preference, they give importance to the customer. For example, you visit a store, retail store, and say that I need this product and I'm not able to find these products in the shelves. And generally, to maintain the relationship and to increase the sales, the retailer will tend to promise, stating that, okay, then very next visit, the products will be available. And I've seen few retailers taking it very seriously, and whatever the customer is demanding, they are trying to maintain or upgrade in the retail stores. Now, coming to the distribution, logistics, and stock control, the customer's expectancy of retail service delivery is nothing but the availability of the product in the retail stands. Okay, so what are the benefits, the incentives which are offered? Sometimes they don't work. The absence of the product, and sometimes the stock has not been delivered in time. And these things are very simple to understand. Okay, even I will understand. So yeah, we have some problems with the transport issues, bad weather there, there is no movement, the transport people could not deliver the product. Maybe I can understand. Why would a customer understand? The customer feels that, okay, that's all your problem. When I need a product, the product should be available in the market. That is what the customer feels. So the retail logistics is the organized process of managing the flow of merchandise from the sources of supply to the customer. So as I said, bad weather is your problem, not my problem. So even in the bad weather, you need to be in a position to supply the right kind of the product. So that really gives value to the customer. So the retail logistics systems, it will try to incorporate the functions like the physical movement of the goods, the holding of these goods at stock points, maintaining the stock, holding of the goods in the quantities which are required as per the demand, and the management and the administration of these processes, which in modern complex distribution is a function on its own right. So you need to maintain the adequate stock. When a customer requires that, you have to deliver that. So, and these are all based upon the order processing when you are making the order and when you are trying to make the transport possible, what kind of a storage precautions you are taking, and how much is the inventory you are trying to maintain. These elements have to be considered under retail logistics. Okay, so as defined by Christopher, the process of strategically managing the procurement, the movement of the goods, and the storage of materials or finished inventory in a better way, wherein you try to maintain the cost effectiveness and see that the goods are reaching the customer in appropriate time, will definitely give the future profits. And how do you try to have the holistic approach in the retail logistics? Very recently, the trend was centralized distribution. You try to maintain the goods or the requirements at a centralized warehouse or an inventory. And from that particular place, you try to do the distribution. So in a way, you can maintain a very large scale of inventory, and it is systematic. Everything is going from the same place. So it is a systematic system of stock disbursement. Now coming to the cost structure. So whenever we are talking about the distribution, definitely you have to talk about the cost. The longer the channel, the longer the path, the longer the network, the cost will be that higher. So you need to be cost effective. Whenever you are planning the retail logistics, you need to be very cost effective, because your distribution cost is nothing but your total cost, facilities cost, communication cost, inventory cost, handling cost, processing cost, and management cost. If at all you want to reduce your total distribution cost, any of these expenditures have to be reduced. Now, you also have online logistics management. So again, this is a strategic approach which uses the digitalization or cloud computing concepts in managing the logistics. Okay, so I told you people about the computerized replacement or replenishment system. So here, where your inventory is connected to your computer, if suppose the sales are huge and your inventory is getting reduced, automatically through the inventory, you get a computerized pop-up which will try to message the distributor about the stock, and the distributor will be distributing the products at the right time when the goods are to be required. So this is all with the computerization, or by using the digital networks, where you try to forecast the stock holding, and then you try to maintain the stock and put everything under the stock control. So this is what all about the supply chain management. And then we have the next criteria, that is the store management. So in the store management, we are first dealing with the understanding the retail customer. So what are the things you have to take into the criteria when you are saying that you have to understand a customer? Now, consumer behavior is termed as a black box. Like, as nothing is visible in a black box, similarly, what is happening in the minds of the customer or consumer cannot be predicted at all. Sometimes price will be an important factor which affects the purchase. And sometimes, in some cases, where price might not be a concern at all. For example, the recent COVID vaccinations, though the vaccinations were very expensive, people have not gone back. Majority of them have gone ahead and they have taken the vaccination. And sometimes the price might be a criteria, whether it is buying the products where the bargaining is allowed, you try to bargain to the core, and unless you get the best price, you're not going to buy. So peculiarly, it is very, we say that a customer or consumer will be having a peculiar behavior where you cannot predict, where you cannot say that these are the reasons why a consumer has rejected or why a consumer has accepted and purchased the product. So, but definitely we can identify the customers and their role which is played in the businesses. So to understand the customer behavior and to allocate the resources, there are 5 main types which can be segmented based on the retail industry. Loyal customers. So these are the customers which are to be appeased and which are on the top priority of a retail company because they represent more than 20% of the customer base and they are loyal. I mean, they try to visit and come what may, whatever may be the situation, they would like to buy the product only from this retailer. So such loyal customers have to be pampered, have to be maintained all the time. And impulse customers, they're impulse. I mean, they do not have any specific shopping list. They just enter the retail mart. They'll be just moving around and whatever is appealing to them, they try to make a spontaneous purchase of the product. So the impulse customers are second to the loyal customers. If you are able to attract them, either with the packaging or whether it is the display of the product, definitely the impulse customers will be the next to the loyal customers. Discount customers, they only turn over whenever you offer a lot of discounts. Whenever they find a lot of price reductions and high rate of discounts, these customers will pull in a lot of cash because whenever discounts are there, they tend to be buying more in quantity. So definitely these customers will try to get a lot of cash into the retail mart. And then you have need-based customers. These are the customers who are driven only by the specific needs. Okay, so they generally enter the stores. They look around the products which are required as per their list. They just go there, buy the products and leave. They are not attracted to other segments. Then they only enter the stores to buy whatever the specific product is there in their mind. And then you have the wandering customers. So these wandering customers, they generate a very small percentage when it comes to the purchase. Usually these are the people who generate traffic in the stores. They don't have any intention in buying the product, but simply they come, they wander, they move from one store to another store, they use the, they move to all the outlets and see. And I mean, if at all anything is appeasing to the core, they don't generally buy. So when it comes to the sales or when it comes to the what do we say, the purchases, it is generally less. So why do people shop? It can be the personal motives. They want to buy because they know about a particular product or a particular retail store. Diversion, they just want to go out of their routine and they want to get themselves diverted, some kind of a relaxation they want. Self-gratification, it may be motivated not by the expected utility, but it is a process where they're emotionally they are disturbed and or it can be a good mood. So they simply go for the shopping. It can be to understand the new trends in the market, or it can be I mean, sometimes you have good fragrances, or sometimes you have a very good display, the color or whatever it is, because of which you try to just go for the products. And you also have the social motives. So you want to go out, watch people, watch friends. You would like to go for the interactions, people's interaction, or customer or sales people's interaction. Or it can be the peer group, because most of the times your peer group will be visiting a particular retail store, so you want to go there and check that. It can be to show your status or authority, or you feel sometimes very happy in bargaining. So anything, it can be the personal or social. A person would be definitely visiting a retail stores and doing the shopping. Now, what are the factors influencing the retail shopper? Cultural factors, social factors, personal factors, psychological factors. The first point being the price. Yeah, definitely price is a major factor which influences the shoppers. So if it is a low price, a bargaining is there, or multiple products are being offered at a lower price, definitely that attracts the customer to visit the retail stores and purchase the product. Mass distribution, like you have the accessibility of the products which are generally liked by the consumers, which are available in the market. So then definitely the people will be thronged to the retail stores to buy the product. Self-service. So generally self-service is one of the major points why the sales are increasing. Earlier, when you want to buy salt, you generally go to a kirana shop, give 10 rupees or 5 rupees or whatever it is. You buy the packet, you come back home. And vice versa, if you're going to a retail stores to buy salt, you don't end up buying the salt alone, right? You'll be moving around and buying some unnecessary things which are not required at all. Okay, so the self-service is also one of the point where, you don't have to ask anyone, you just move around. Few other products also which are required or not required also you tend to be buying. And the store display, eye-catching display, or the notices or the pamphlets or the discounts or the offers could be one of the reason. It can be the low marginal need of for an item. So it can be the products which are required for the everyday utility might be the reason. Small size and lightweight, some smaller or lighter items that can be easily added to the existing purchases will definitely add to the value. And the storage, there is sometimes you buy, suppose oil, 5 liters can is available, say for maybe 500, for example. So each individual liter packets, if you are buying, that is around 150, 120 or 110, whereas 5 liters is coming around 500 in an offer. So oil will definitely not spoil. So I can buy a 5 liter can and store it. So if such kind of a mentality is there, that will definitely lead to the purchases. Now, the consumer decision-making process. Depending upon the product type and the duration of the process, you can definitely decide how a consumer will be making a decision. So if it is impulse buying, you take few seconds. If it is groceries, it might be 2 days. If it is car or television luxury item, it might take 2 months or more. If it is house or land, years. So definitely we have the 5 different stages, that is the need recognition or problem awareness, then information search, evaluating the alternatives, then you make the purchase decision, and then you have the post-purchase evaluation. Need recognition. Yeah, you have a queue, you have a problem, you have a stimulus, you want to buy something. That is, you have recognized a problem. For example, you don't have a television at home. Okay, but till that date, you don't face any problem. Okay, so, but that day where your children have gone to neighbor's house to watch TV, were thrown out. Maybe the neighbor wants to go out somewhere, or maybe the neighbor is in a very bad mood. She doesn't want to entertain the children. She just says that, please go home, go out. And the moment children come and tell about this, what happens? The mother, whoever is there at home, will feel very bad. Oh, what is this? When my kids want to enjoy a television, why am I not having a television at home? So immediately that is the need what they recognize. Come what may, we need to have a television at home. The moment father comes home, definitely the issue is, told to him so that he can relate to buy a product. The moment they accept that they have to buy a television, they start gathering the information. They have to gather the information. So from where they do gather the information, it can be through television advertisements, or it can be a neighboring stores. Sometimes you also take the help of the reference groups, office friends, peer group, neighbors, family friends, school friends, relatives. So you try to gather the information from all these people and you zero it down to 3 or 4 brands. Now you start evaluating the alternatives. So out of the 4, which one is the best? Which one should I buy? Okay, should I buy on EMI, monthly installments, or should I buy with the down payment, or whether it should be a color TV, or whether it should be a plasma TV, or whether it should be a smart TV? So you have n number of factors which are to be evaluated. Once you evaluate the things, then finally you try to make the purchase decision. Okay, finally I want to buy a smart TV of so and so inches of so and so brand. You take a purchase decision. And then you go to the shop, you buy the product. And after you buy, if the product is enjoyed by the entire family, then you are satisfied. Your post-purchase behavior is very, very important. But after you buying the product, suddenly the other company has also introduced the brand into the market with a much lesser price. Then your dissatisfaction starts. Array, I should have waited for 2 or 3 days more. I would have got that best offer. I would have purchased a superior brand. And one of your relatives, they come to the home and say that, okay, you have purchased the same brand, and even we have purchased, and we have so many issues related to that brand. We are facing so many problems with that brand. Then the dissatisfaction starts. So your post-purchase evaluation should be either satisfaction or dissatisfaction or disposal. If you are dissatisfied to such an extent, you try to dispose of the product in the market because you didn't like the product at all. Now, what are the different types of consumer decision making? Routine buy. Okay, you are buying a routine purchase, like it can be a grocery or a newspaper or a milk. It is a routine buy. You don't think too much whether to buy the product in that retail store. It is a routine buy. You simply go there and buy the product. Modified rebuy. Now, what is this modified rebuy? The moment you come to know that the bread or the milk, whatever you're buying from the routine retailer, he's charging 2 rupees extra. Okay. But the other retail store is giving the same product for, say, 1 rupee less. You go for the modified rebuy. And then a new product purchase, where the purchase of the product will be entirely into a new segment with a new retailer where you visit for the first time, and based on that you try to evaluate the terms and then you try to buy the product. Okay. On the basis of the effort also, there are 4 levels. Routine response, in case there's low involvement and it is a frequently purchased product, it is a low cost product, you simply go and buy the product. For example, you want to buy a matchbox. So for example, you have in the market ship and some other, say A brand and B brand. You go and say that you need A brand matchboxes. The retailer says that A brand is not available, B is available. He'll simply say that, okay, give B brand. We won't mind because it is only a matchbox. And then you have the limited decision making. And this is where, which is occasionally purchased, okay? And you want to look for a different brand, you want to purchase for a product because the earlier one is not performing better or non-availability. It can be clothes or utensils or crockery. Such kind have limited decision making where maybe, okay, one brand or the other brand, you simply switch because you don't have much kind of an involvement. Extensive decision making where you're buying unfamiliar, expensive, infrequent products like cars, computers. This is not frequent. You won't buy everyday computers and sell them, right? If it is infrequent and expensive, where you have to shell out, say, 40,000 or 50,000, definitely you have to involve yourself high. Impulsive buying, it does not involve any conscious planning. Okay, you want to buy a soft drink. You just simply say that, okay, please give me thumbs up or give something which is available, which is visible, which is there over the counter. It is impulsive buying where you don't try to think, put your efforts 100% in making a buying decision. Now, the consumer decision rules, it can be the compensatory decision rule. He will try to evaluate the store or the brand or the alternatives, whatever are available. And based on that, he will try to put some kind of weights, I mean, the preferences. So if it is a restaurant you're going, then you will try to put these factors, that is the kind of cuisines available, the kind of service, what they are providing, what kind of a price it is there, and the distance, the mobility, the atmospherics, how good the interiors are there. And based on these factors, you try to check a particular hotel. Non-compensatory decision rules, I mean, they do not follow any consumers. They generally see what according to them is not important or negative evaluation. Okay. So whenever they are trying to visit a particular dimension, they don't try to make any compensatory decision rules. If a student wants to select a particular restaurant, okay, so he might go on based on the cuisines available. He's not more about the atmospherics or the distance or the service quality. Okay, so it varies from person to person. It can be a conjunctive decision rule. So they try to establish a specific or minimum acceptance, some cutoff. Okay, the cuisine is multiple range of cuisines are available. Why not visit them? You have disjunctive decision rule where you try to apply a prospective shopper. He will try to set up the minimum acceptance level as the cutoff. Okay, so once he feels price is very high, but the moment he sees that order one, get one free, he might be very impulsive in taking the decision. And lexicographic decision rule, the shoppers will first rank the various dimensions, and based on the features and the importance of those salient features, they will try to take a rule. Okay. And generally, they try to follow the practical loyalist rule or the bottom line price shoppers, opportunistic switchers. Now, these are the people. Every day they will be visiting A hotel, but one day they see that B hotel is offering a very good variety at a very good price. They simply switch from this brand to that brand. And deal hunters are the people who will be always waiting for the deals. Wherever they get the best offer, they're going to jump there and take the offer. Now, consumers' image of the retail stores. So the retail image dimensions, like what they feel the retail store is, what kind of a shopping center it is. Based on the retail image or the image what a consumer feels, based on those perspectives, a customer will be visiting a particular stores. So it can be McDonald's or it can be Big Bazaar or it can be some other place. He will try to go about the dimensions. So what kind of imagination, what kind of specific image he finds in the retail stores that will really help him to decide what kind of stores he has. So it can be the locational convenience, or it can be the suitable merchandise, or it can be a value for price, or it can be the sales effect, or it can be the post-transaction, post-purchase satisfaction. It can be of anything. Now, when I'm talking about the Indian shoppers, from the bricks versus clicks to bricks and clicks, that is the shift of the Indian shoppers. So we have internet, we have what do we say, Chrome in our hands, we have smartphones in our hands, we have so much of social media influence on us. Based on all these factors, we try to focus ourselves on a particular retail stores or a brand or a product. And whenever it comes to the online, we generally go with the competitive strategies, the dynamic strategies, and we also have the reviews, we also have the feedback which is given for the products. Based on those, we try to put the products in the carts so that on a future date, we are going to check the cart, make the comparison and make a purchase decision. Okay. And it can be the, you don't want to face any risk in the online buying by cards or debit cards or any other cards. You go with the cash on delivery. Okay. And apart from that, you also have certain policies, the refund policy or the buyback policies. Based on that, the customer will try to make the purchase decision. So I think it's already time. We are going to continue with these aspects in tomorrow's class. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.